Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina, and my guest co-host for the day is Brenda, Maine. Welcome back.
Hi, it's nice to be back again.
So, Run Radio is all about inspiring strides in life, business, and beyond. And you and I have a passion, like so many runners, to participate, to train. It's kind of like it's our livelihood when it comes to running. And sometimes our livelihood gets kind of a setback, and you are very familiar with injury.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what that's been like for you and kind of your history with other injuries.
Okay, it's been rough. I've had good and bad days. Those days where I think I'll never run again, and it breaks my heart. And then I have a great support system. I was thinking about that this morning, and I do, because I have all these, my family and church people and friends are, no, not when, not if, but when you run again, you will run again. And I finally had to come to a place in my heart right now that even if I don't run again, as long as I can get through my injury,
Yes.
that's the main thing right now. I just want to stop hurting. This injury, you know what? I don't know. I should have listened to my body better. I started feeling some problems with my sciatica or my sciatic nerve and probably my piriformis back in October.
Okay.
But I pushed through because I'm kind of one of those people. I will push through it. And if the pain stops while I'm running, then I figure, okay, I was okay to push through it. And I went ahead and ran Bass Pro, and I had an amazing, amazing run. I mean, my time was so much better than I wanted it to be. And then I did Dogwood, and that's when I got injured. I fell on the trail. And but then I went ahead, I ran some more off and on, and I ran the turkey trot with my husband. But then I ran a couple more times, and after that, I was like, I can't. It hurts too much to run, so I have to stop. So the process of this injury is I'm frustrated with the medical professional, with the medical field, because my insurance, they won't pay for an MRI. They want me to have physical therapy. I'm 4 weeks out still before I can have physical therapy. So I've just decided, you know what? I'm going to keep doing my stretches and icing it. And I had a massage last week, which was amazing. And I'm going to go back and see her in another week or so.
Good.
And keep moving forward. And I have a lot of good days, and I have a lot of good minutes. And I'm thankful for the good minutes even. So,
well, you're right. You end up breaking it down minute by minute, because it's not necessarily a full day. You'll be going along thinking, hey, and then hey, it kicks in.
Exactly.
So it's rough. And I want to go back to that point where I feel like as runners, we are very in touch with our bodies, but at the same time, we are trained to run through a certain amount of discomfort. So it's sometimes, I feel like it can be difficult to know the difference between discomfort and pain.
Yeah.
And so how has that been like for you? Because I mean, where do you think, now looking back in retrospect, where would you have adjusted?
I don't know, because before in October, it wasn't really pain. It was just discomfort. And as I ran, it stopped hurting.
Yeah.
It didn't continue. And I have dealt with sciatica before in my right leg. I got a year. In fact, it popped up on my Facebook. I was like, oh, yeah, that was a year ago. And it wasn't even from running. It was from painting inside my house. And I was on scaffolding. And I had to make, there was such a small space between the wall and getting onto the scaffolding, because I had to paint our stairwell. And so let's face it, only tiny people like you and I could fit in that space. I mean, I watched my husband, who's not a big man at all, try to squeeze in between, and so I had to squeeze through the area and really step up high onto steps, and kept doing it over and over, and I was up and down. And by the end of the day, I hurt so bad.
Oh no.
I couldn't move. And so I had treatment for that too. But man, it was gone, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks. I mean, I wasn't this month after month thing. So I've dealt with it before. So I don't know, I've ran with pain. I've ran when I've had plantar fasciitis, and I guess I just had I got to the point where after 3 miles, I was still gimping instead
Yeah.
of running.
Yeah.
And it was more of a, this is hurting so much. I'm not enjoying myself, that I thought, okay, I've got to get this checked out. And checked out, great. But
Yeah.
unless they, and I don't know, still have a piece about not having an MRI done, because I don't think there's anything more in there other than we just can't quite get it unpinched.
It just needs some time, maybe.
Yeah,
Hopefully, that's all it needs.
yeah.
Now, you can smack me. I don't even want to say this, but how much do you think is related to age?
Oh, I think probably a lot of it. I think part of it's related to age. I think part of it's related to the way I'm made. So we
Yeah.
talked on the last podcast, how I was born with hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
And I found out with my x-rays from my chiropractor, because I went to the chiropractor first because I thought, okay, back injury, I fell, my hips hurt. That makes the most sense to me. They did x-rays. And he said, no, I'm going to forget the word. He said that I have the smallest sacrum. That's the word. I
Oh,
have the
yeah.
smallest sacrum he has ever seen on a person. He goes, you're a unicorn, and I found you. So I don't, it could just be the way I'm made,
Yeah.
with that there. And, TMI, my uterus is tipped and inverted.
Yeah.
And he said that that goes along with it too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be the way that I developed in the womb, and I could just be more subjected more easily. What's the word I want? I could be,
Exacerbates the
yes,
problem,
yeah, it
perpetuates some
exasperates it more.
more.
And I was thinking about that this morning, that I had a chiropractor way back. I got we were sledding with our kids, and my 25-year-old son, that's now 25, he was just a little guy. I mean, he
Mhm.
was, in your lap little guy. And I had him on my lap, and I went down in a saucer. And as I went down, I could tell I was going to cream right into my older daughter. And it was going to be my young son between us. And so I flipped my body and
Oh,
I creamed my back into her, and I bruised my kidney. I mean, I couldn't move.
oh my
So I went
goodness.
to him. I went to my sister's chiropractor because Dr. Neil was amazing. And I don't like chiropractors. They scare me. And they've
Yeah.
got your head, and they're a whack. I'm so afraid they're going to just snap my head off. But he was great. And we talked about running. And his comment was, oh, I think you should run. I don't know that I'd ever aspire to be a marathon runner, though, because it'd be a lot of wear and tear on your hips.
You're like, hold my Powerade.
Lots and lots of marathons later. And I was thinking
Yes.
about that this morning. And I thought, well, maybe, no, he wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it probably does have to do with my age too. I just had a birthday, woohoo, and I'm more tired. So
Yeah.
I've noticed that it takes more of a toll on me. By the end of the day, I'm just exhausted. I'm ready for
Yeah.
bed by 8 o'clock at night, which, I mean, the alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, so it's not
Right.
like I sleep in, but still, I'm just tired. And
Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, yeah, I'm sure it does have something to
Yeah.
do with age.
Well,
Thanks a lot.
yeah, it's like a necessary evil.
Yeah, it is. I looked in
So
the mirror this morning real well, and I thought, at what point in time did I get old when I woke up in the morning? I mean, seriously, I looked in the mirror and thought, when did I start looking like my mom?
oh, that should be good though.
Well, my mom's passed, but I mean,
Oh,
still, I don't mean that mom. But yeah, I thought, when did I start getting all
yeah.
the wrinkles? And I'm like, oh, okay, well,
It was like full
it is
night.
what it
I should
is.
be rested. Why do I look tired?
Exactly, and I do.
Yes, I understand. I have
Yeah,
been there.
yeah,
That those mornings are coming more and more frequently.
yes. And pain is exhausting.
Pain is exhausting. I'm glad
Yeah,
you brought that up because when you are trying to recover and you're determined but you're tired, it's
Yeah,
not easy to just kind of sit back and let it happen.
yes.
So what are some of the things that you have been doing? I mean, different exercises,
Mhm.
stretching, have you changed your nutrition? What's it been like for you?
Girl, I have walked so many miles and so many steps. I have a
Mhm.
goal. I wear a Garmin, and I have the Garmin app and all that stuff. And my goal is 10,000 steps a day.
Mhm.
And I'm still getting my steps in and then some. Thankfully we have a treadmill in our house, so I can walk on a treadmill if I want to. But I've done a lot of that. I've done some spinning. I've gone to the gym and done and spun on the bike a couple times. I did find out that I overdid because then I really hurt after that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of shy of that, and that takes more time out of my day. I have to travel there
Yeah.
opposed to just being home and walking on my treadmill. But a lot of stretching. I have all kinds of stretching activities I can do. Been doing, I guess I'll call it yoga. I mean, I'm not following anybody that's doing it with me. I'm just doing the yoga type stretching.
Right.
Bought an exercise ball, and so I lay across that. I've done some little hand weights. I've got hand weights, so I'm trying to keep on top of my upper body strength.
Mm-hmm.
Some push-ups and sit-ups, and of course I've got to be careful with sit-ups because I don't know if that's great for my lumbar. But all kinds of that stuff. And yeah, nutrition. I find when I eat high sugar,
Yeah.
I hurt more.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's medically proven. Um, my chiropractor, he recommended more, oh gosh, is it omega-3 or omega-6? It's the fish one.
I want to say 3, but I could.
I think it's 3. I think it's 3. And so I've tried to pay more attention to that a little
Yeah.
bit, but and not even just sweets. You got to watch those carbohydrates that
Yeah.
break down into
Was it
sugar.
sweetened?
And that's been kind of a challenge. Because my husband, Mark, he has to eat more of those things because of his kidney and his heart. He can't have a lot of the high grains and the high protein, and his kidney won't, because he only has one. So his kidney will not function well with all that in there. So
Yeah.
we almost need different diets.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is in our household too, very
Okay.
much so. And I think it's important that people kind of start understanding that the family meal, not always something that you have. Please don't feel like you have to stick to it,
Right.
because eating for your needs and your health is more important than saying, I've got to, well, this is what's for dinner. I fully understand you can't make a gourmet individualized meal, but trying to at least adapt some of the things that are better for every individual person, I think is going to make a happier family altogether. So,
and what I've been trying to do is like for lunchtime, because we're not together for lunch anyway. So for lunchtime, I've been trying to incorporate some of those things. So I've been doing some other studying just because of my age too.
Yeah.
And the lack of, my body doesn't produce estrogen as well as it used to. Yeah, that's probably TMI too, but I am 58.
It's stuff we need to know. We need to know
50,
these things.
Well, I mean, I am 58. So yes, I am menopausal. I have been for a long time, which is, I don't know if that's because was a runner, but it happened to me at 47. So it's been quite a few years. And I've noticed that everything I read, and I was like, okay, is this just because I'm not running? Rabbit Trail, I had a gentleman yesterday actually say to me, which was the best thing I've had somebody say to me, oh, you're an active person. This is really hard for you, isn't it? I said, exactly. That's the point. I'm used to being active. And because of that, I've gained some weight. I said, okay, I said this in front of another woman. I know I'm tiny. I know I'm not big. I'm not heavy, but even 5 pounds for me makes my clothes uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you can't stay on the level of activity that you were on. So, but I've been doing some looking and reading things that pop up on Facebook. Who knows if it's true? That as you do go through menopause, then you start to put on the belly fat, and that there are things you can eat. And oh my gosh, those are things we don't eat anymore because they're not healthy for Mark. So like avocados, we don't eat them anymore. They are way too high in potassium. They would be good for me.
Yeah.
Or soy products, way too high in potassium for Mark, and he can't have high potassium at all. That would be a good thing for me. So like, okay, I need to start making sure I eat those things for lunch, and he can eat the things he needs to eat for lunch, and then we can kind of come on common ground for dinner.
Yeah, that's great. That is a very good way to look at it, for sure. So what other things for your mental well-being have you been trying to do? I know your faith gets you through a lot, but like you're saying, it is very
It
difficult
is
when you're
hard.
used to a certain level of activity. And that's also a way that we are social when we go to these
Mhm.
races. And if you're not able to go out there, it can get, I know from my experience, it can get really dark and depressing. So how are you
Yeah,
managing that?
it can. Um, I have good and bad days. I've had some days where I've just cried, and most of the crying now is because of pain. When I just can't deal with it. It just hurts so much that all I can do is just cry. But and that sounds so depressing. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
being honest. Um, I've got, like I said, I've got a great support group. So, and it is between my husband and then just the faith of going, okay, and the reality of what would it would my life come to an end if I can't run anymore? No, I can walk, I can ride a bike. And I saw a group of bikers yesterday. I thought, see, I would like to get into biking too, and I could do that right now. I could ride a bike. It wouldn't be near the impact on my hip and all. Um, but a lot of it is just relying on the Lord. When I really get discouraged, I just my verbiage has come, my mantra has become, I trust you, Lord. I
Mm,
trust you, Lord. I
yeah.
trust you with whatever you're doing right now. I trust you. The reminder that running used to be for me a time to get away and be with the Lord and pray. Now, it didn't mean I wasn't listening to music, because the whole idea of, I don't know how people do it. Do you run with music? Because I don't know how people do it without music.
I love the quiet. Well, I don't, you say, I'm saying quiet of the outdoors, but there's all of the nature sounds and
Yes.
my feet.
Yeah.
And there are so many things I like to hear without music when I'm running. So, but I understand.
Yeah. I don't know how people do it. I've tried. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I have to keep running. But I used to always just listen to, like, it was called Pod Runner. I think it's still out there.
Mm.
And it's just, there's no words. And I
Oh.
would run to that and I would pray, or I would
Hmm.
run to podcasts that were sermons and that. So it wasn't music necessarily.
Hmm.
And I would pray for people and I would pray for needs. And I was the realization that I've gotten away from that, and I've gotten more into just gotta run, gotta run, gotta. And it's like, okay, Lord, if you're trying to teach me something, I need to be praying more. Then that's just for me. It's not for everybody, because I know not everybody has that same faith walk that I do, or that
Yeah.
same religious walk. Well, not everybody follows Christ. Not everybody feels the same way I do about that, and I'm not trying to impose something that's, not for it may not be for everybody.
Yeah.
But the realization that I need to get back to that time, now I have to be able to run to do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna trust the Lord that that's where I'm at. Now, the nitty-gritty, I know March 13th is coming, it's on my calendar. And every year I've gone ahead and popped on there and I've registered for Bass Pro, and I so love Run the Rock. I've never done it before, I did it last year. I loved it, I wanna do it so badly again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold up on dogwood for a while, I think for a while. There's a lot of people who signed up anyway, so I'm not
Yeah.
too worried about that.
Yeah.
But I I keep thinking, okay, March 13th is coming. I really want to be able to sign up on March the 13th for my races this year. And then I have to come to the realization I may not be ready, and I don't want to pay for races I can't run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
And
done
you
that before.
you don't want to run on a broken leg either. You want
No.
to give yourself that time to heal. And
Mhm.
it is rough to watch. I mean, I've been there. Like, okay, maybe I'll be there next year. And
Yeah.
then, you know, I just hope that's not for you. But if it isn't, it seems like you're open to learning the lesson if there's a lesson to
Yep.
be taught in it. So I think that's probably
Right.
powerful.
Right. And
So
I don't know. Um, we go to this amazing city school class, but they're all quite a bit older than we are. But not all of them. There are more and more younger people coming in that are even younger than myself. But um, that mindset, I don't know that I always believe that there's a reason for everything.
yeah.
We live in a fallen world, and there is just bad things that just happen. Bad things happen to good people, and there's not always a reason behind it. Or if there is, we don't always know what the reason is. Sometimes or it takes years to find out what the reason was for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily, I'm not beating myself up over it. I did have
Good.
someone say to me early on, you need to pray and find out what God's trying to teach you through this. And I'm like, thanks. Thanks a lot. That was great encouragement for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know what the theology behind that all is. I know
No.
some people believe it, and
Yeah.
I don't necessarily.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. That's good. It sounds like you're in a healthy place right now, and
trying to be.
without yeah, and not to say you're still gonna, have perfect days. You're probably still gonna have days where you're just
Yeah.
frustrated and aggravated, but I'm really hoping that you'll get some progress soon
Hmm.
and that you'll get to come back and tell us about that.
Oh yeah,
And what about volunteering? Do you like to volunteer at the races and stuff?
I haven't, and I've thought about it, and
Yeah.
now in retrospect, I wish I would have volunteered for Dogwood
Yeah.
because Mark did. He chose to because he was signed up, and he didn't feel like he was conditioned right for it with his heart issues and all that.
Yeah.
He just didn't think it was right. So he volunteered and I ran. Now I kind of wish I would have volunteered instead. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have fallen. But I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's what caused this degree of my injury or if it would have still happened no matter what.
And that's just it too. It could
Yeah,
have
because
happened no matter what.
I went into Dogwood and I said to Mark, I said, I know I'm going to hurt afterwards because I already hurt now, but I really want to just do this.
Yeah.
And he let me. I mean, he didn't discourage me. He encouraged me to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. So I don't know. It might have. I didn't even fall on the side that's injured, so I fell on the opposite side. I didn't break anything. That's what I was more concerned about. Did I break a hip? Did I break an arm? And
Yeah,
I
for
didn't.
sure.
So I didn't break anything. So I know that this can come to a. But yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about, you know what? Maybe I should volunteer for a while.
Yeah. Because I think good runners that have raced make great volunteers
Yeah.
because you know that those volunteers, a good volunteer changes your race experience
It
for the
does.
better.
Yeah, it
They
does.
they know they're good, they're great, and they can make or break a race for sure.
Yeah, they can for
So,
real. Can't do it without them.
no. Now that it's getting a little bit warmer, is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Forward to
Yeah,
running. No,
running.
sorry. And my
Yeah.
husband, he always gets the biggest smile on his face because if we're out driving and there's a runner, this is me.
Oh yeah.
I watch him go by,
Do
and
I
then
know
he
that?
looks, yeah, and then tears will well up in my eyes, and I'll go, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. Yeah, just even getting outside. Goodness,
Yeah.
Saturday we went to Fellows Lake and we walked for almost 3 miles. It was just so nice outside. And then yesterday we went and just walked our neighborhood with our dog, and I just love to be outdoors. I think that's why. No, I know that's why. That's why I love to run so much. I love to be outside, and it gives me excuses to get outside and be out there and not. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind working in the yard and all that, but I really just love to be outside.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, I'll walk and I'll ride a bike. I got to buy a bike.
Get
I
you a
don't have
bike.
one.
You can come back and tell us about cycling. All
There you
right.
go.
We'll wrap it up for now.
That's gonna be fun.
I do hope you'll come back and tell us more, tell us how the progress is going. And if there are any, if there's anything that people want to reach out and contact you, do you mind giving any contact information?
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Okay,
Just
where should they try to get a hold of you?
well, you know what? I'm not afraid to give out my cell phone number. So if that's okay,
Yeah.
my phone number is area code 630-386-0184. And you could always email me or come on my Facebook. What is my thing on Facebook? I don't even know. Just look up Brenda Maine.
Brenda Maine.
Or my email is marksgirl, MARKSGIRL 88 at live.com.
All right. I think
Oh,
that's
I got
great.
married.
Sometimes that helps for us to connect with other
Yeah.
people that are going through similar things. And if that can help someone, that would be fantastic.
Oh, it'd be beautiful. That would make this worth it.
Yes, for sure. What's already been worth it. It makes me feel better knowing another runner, not that I don't want you to struggle, but knowing that some of the things that I feel too when I've
Yeah.
had problems and
Yeah.
some of the things that I'm working through are just not an isolated event.
Right.
So it's,
I used to always it's always been my thought, running for those who can't.
yeah,
And I didn't think to say that a minute ago. Um, and that's what I feel like I'm supposed to get back to. And not that I have to raise money necessarily, because that hasn't been the best thing I've tried, but just there's people who can't. And I
yeah.
honestly, truly, Trina, I've prayed for you, but not as much as I should have, because
Oh,
man, you've gone through so much and you are such an inspiration to me to
thank
deal
you.
with the surgeries you've had to deal with. And this that I'm doing, this is nothing in
Yeah,
comparison. So
it,
you inspire me.
well, thank you. But,
You're welcome.
everybody deserves to feel the pain they're feeling, and
Right.
we can lean on each other. And I
Exactly.
appreciate you sharing a little bit about what you are going through and experiencing.
Thank you.
So we will talk to you hopefully
Okay.
in the near future.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Be sure you're following along at runradio.net. We'll see you next time.